Hello there, folks. It's Tyson again with a language arts resource for you this time. Today we are looking at readwritethink.org. So, pretty simple website to remember. And this website is from the US, but of course, it's still completely applicable to reading skills and writing skills in Canada. We all speak the same language and we're writing and reading in the same way. So there is a wonderful wealth of resources on this page, and I'm going to take some time to walk you through them. This is mostly geared toward teachers, so you may find it a little bit overwhelming. I'll start off with the classroom resources side of things, and then we'll finish off with a nice cherry on top for the parent and after school resources, which I think you and your students will probably really get a kick out of. So here we go. When we look at the classroom resources here, the first thing you'll see is lesson plans in the list. So let's click on lesson plans. And there are all kinds of lesson plans. So if we are to click see all, there are pages and pages and pages. There are 892 lesson plans that you can look through. So that's pretty overwhelming. But the good news is they've got a tool on our left side here to help you pare those down a little bit and find what you're really looking for. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look by grade level. And so let's say we've got a sixth grade student here. We're looking for some language arts resources for a sixth grade student. And then we have lesson plans. If you want to, you can look by standard lessons, mini lessons, which of course are a little bit shorter, units, which is going to give you a larger bunch of information to work with over a number of days. Or there are also recurring lessons, ones that are sort of a skill that you can practice with your student over and over to really build their confidence with a particular skill. So we are looking at these lesson plans that are from grades 6 to 8, okay? And we can also look here to make things more specific for different learning objectives. So if you want to, you can browse through all of these, but here we've got collaboration, comprehension, critical thinking, digital literacy, grammar, inquiry and research. So all of these are areas that are valuable for your student to be working on. But one that I think is pretty common that people ask about is critical thinking. Pardon me, comprehension. So let's look at comprehension here. We've got fewer lessons for that. And um, let's see. Let's look at fiction in our themes area here. So we're going to look at comprehension of fiction reading. So we're getting more and more specific. Now you see we've got 55 lesson plans to choose from. Okay, so active reading through self-assessment, a student-made quiz, directed listening and thinking activity for the Telltale Heart, American folklore, a jigsaw character study. One that I like is a Telltale Heart. So let's have a look at that. A bit of a spooky thriller story here. So we've got our lesson plan here. It tells us it's for grades 6 to 8, standard lesson. And this is a pretty long activity. If we see here, 5 60-minute sessions. So this is something that your student will probably work on over a week or 2 weeks, and maybe even longer, depending on how you approach it. So there are a few different sections on these tabs that we see here. And there are some resources for you too. So this overview gives you an explanation of what's going to happen in the lesson. Here are some resources that you can use, learning about acrostic poems, an interactive tool for that. A comic creator, another interactive tool that students can use to summarize the story, and a different writing model, a website with a particular way of writing that can support the students and their skills. So what I like about this website is that it's very detailed. So you've got your overview, you have the standards here, which is going to explain to you which areas the student is working on here. Now, I mentioned that this is from the US, so it will be a little bit different than what might be in Manitoba here, but still very valuable. And then for yourself to get prepared, some information about what you might need. So computer with internet access. You don't need a projector, obviously, in a small scale. You can just use the computer screen. And then here are some printouts for you. There's an assignment sheet, some prediction questions to help your student prepare before they read the story, a vocabulary worksheet, and a wish and a star worksheet. So let's check this one out here, the prediction questions. Let's see what we might think about before reading. Okay. First paragraph. Who do you think the narrator is speaking to? So this would be as you're reading the story. After the third paragraph, write down what you think the author means by the work. So this is a way to get your student thinking about what they're reading. Often we'll read through something and it just kind of goes in one ear and out the other, or in one eye and out the other. But this is a great way to maintain attention as the student's reading and actually think about what they're reading. So great resource there. Let's see what's on the assignment sheet. Oh, some different options. So we can, after reading the story, use the comic creator. We've got a link here for that. Or make an acrostic poem. And there's another link for that too. So very cool stuff here. Some supporting assignments that you can use with this activity. And there's an instruction plan that is going to walk you through step by step. So here we go. The objectives. What goals are we trying to reach with this lesson? And then different sessions here. So we're going to start out preparing our student for it a little bit, and then what we can do in session 2 with those worksheets that we saw here. And it's all broken down for you really nicely, and you don't need to rush through it. And of course, you can put your own spin on it. You know what's going to work best for your student. And then it's nice we've got some assessment or reflection. So after doing this activity, you can see what your student has learned or how they want to express their learning that they absorbed through this. Of course, we've got some related resources, which is always a nice touch here. The comic creator and the acrostic poems. We've got some other activities about Halloween or The Raven, which is another famous Edgar Allan Poe poem. And then some things here from the professional library. So again, this is more dedicated to teachers, but hey, if you want to take the time to read this and expand your understanding of teaching, that's a fantastic opportunity for you. So those are some of the lessons that you can look at. Of course, as we saw at the start, there are a huge amount of lessons that you can choose from. And we are going to move on to the student interactives. So that acrostic poem was one, and the other one being the comic strip organizer. There are a whole bunch of different interactive things here that are really great for students. So again, you see that we can arrange it by the grade levels. So this time, why don't we look at some options for third grade? Okay, so we're doing third grade, our interactive things here. And these all seem to be for mostly organizing and summarizing. We've got an alphabet organizer, a BioCube. Let's see if we can get rid of that and if we might get more options. Here we go. Here's the acrostic poems that we saw before. So let's check this out. Now, one thing important to remember with this is that these need Flash Player. You see here, so you might get a pop-up that says enable Flash Player, or you might need to change some settings on your computer so that this can work properly. There's an overview here that describes how to use it or what the goals are. And let's see how this is going to look. What is an acrostic poem? So we get an example, and then you can type in your name. Oh, let's see what we've got here. You know what? I have a cat sitting on my lap right now, so let's see what we come up with. Cats. Oh, words or phrases that are related to a cat. So you can type these all in here. Your student can have lots of fun experimenting with words and different things like that. So it's going to erase it. Let's not worry about that. But There are all kinds of different interactive things that you can use on the computer, the iPad, or even the phone. And you can have a lot of fun looking around through this, or even open it up to your student to look through this, see what they might be interested in. There are also mobile apps, and of course, you can download those for your iPad or your phone. Some different options. I was playing around with this hero's journey earlier. So this is an example where it tells us about the commonly known journey through things like the Odyssey or modern stories like Harry Potter, Star Wars, things like that. So it's a cool way to get your students thinking about classic literature techniques through things that they're more familiar with. We've got a poetry writing mobile app, a writing app here, language and learning. And so all kinds of cool things that you can explore there. And of course, it's always good to let your students have some input on what they are going to be working on or what they might be interested in exploring more. So it could be a good idea to explore this together with the student or students that you're working with. I mentioned before, this professional development area is more for teachers who want to hone their skills or learn more about what they're doing. So if that's something you're interested in, I certainly encourage you to try that out. One idea that could be useful is these strategy guides here. So sometimes people aren't really sure how to approach teaching English, and these could give you some good ideas for working with your students and improve your skills a little bit. And that might improve your enjoyment of the experience and help your student learn better as well. We've got some videos here. So there's literacy in action, all kinds of different stuff here. And these are shorter videos that may be good for your students to watch or good for you to watch. And it's got a lot of information that can be useful for understanding different areas of English learning or different concepts. So these are some fun videos that you can check out here. There are some longer videos that are presentations from professionals. And again, this is more related to the professional teaching side of things, but certainly you can learn from this as well. We've got using Read, Write, Think. These are a couple examples of some of those student interactive tools that they can use. And then just for fun here, we've only got one here, but no big deal. Now, as promised, the last thing we'll look at, parent and after school resources. This is a great section because it's got a lot of fun interactive things that the kids can fool around with. So we've got activities and projects. This particular one's for grade 2 to 6, but we can look at all of the activities and projects. 107 different options for you there. And not only do we have activities and projects, but we've got different games and tools. So these ones, of course, the nice thing is you can always see which ages they're appropriate for or which ages they're geared towards. And these are things that your students can have a lot of fun with on their own. We've got tips and how-tos. So these are probably more directed at parents and how to work with your students. We've got a whole bunch of printouts. So if you're a person who likes working hands-on, or if your student likes doing pen and paper kind of work, some great options here for printouts. And then our last section with some different podcasts. So these can be great ideas, and some of these would be for students to listen to, and some might be for parents to listen to. But it looks like we've got some nice read-alongs here or discussion of different books. So great options for you and for your students to learn in the language arts area. I hope this video has been useful, and I look forward to chatting with you next time.